you. Dear friends, I participate with joy at this meeting of the European Christian Political Foundation. In a tragic moment for the whole world, where the United States and France are preparing to launch the war to Syria. This would be a suicidal madness for our civilization and a huge crime in the Middle East. Even now, the West has sided with Islamic terrorists of the Muslim Brotherhood, the Salafists and Al-Qaeda. The war would be the final straw to put an end to the Assad regime that, even if it is a secular dictatorship, had guaranteed the right to life and freedom of worship for Christians and other ethnic and religious minorities. The same representative of the Christian churches in Syria beg us not to make war and to stop supporting Islamic terrorists. They say to us that the West does not understand anything about the Syrian reality. Even if we don't like it, Assad is a guarantee for the survival of Christians. Unfortunately, in Syria, at least 1 million Christians were forced to escape. Hundreds of churches have been destroyed by Islamic terrorists. Christian young people are kidnapped, raped and killed because they regard it lawful on the basis of Sharia or Islamic law. But people say little or not about that in all the West. Unfortunately, the European Union sides together with Turkey, Saudi Arabia and Qatar with Islamic terrorists. It's shocking that, despite the certainty of negativity advent to power of Islamists in Tunisia, Libya and Egypt, after the deposition with the strength of lay rulers, Europe continues to perpetuate the same mistake in Syria. This Europe totters on a mountain of lies that go from the worship of the euro as if it were the apex of our civilization, to the religious relativism which require us to legitimize Islam as a religion of equal value and of equal dignity as Judaism and Christianity. Now we are in a crucial phase of our contemporary history. At stake there is our right to be fully ourselves here at home. The West, Europe in particular, suffer from one side of a structural crisis of finance and the economy tied to materialistic and consumerist ideology, and secondly, a crisis of values and identity caused by the ideology of relativism that leads us to no longer have the certainty of who we are and the very notion of trust. We are fragile inside. We introduce ourselves as if we were a wasteland, and we end up by perceived by Muslims as a land of conquest. We should promote together the rescue of every single nation state, the whole of Europe and the West, recovering the certainty of our Judeo-Christian roots, our non-negotiable values to life, dignity and freedom. We need to become strong in order to ensure that everyone, without exception, including Muslims who voluntarily choose to share our physical space, they do so in full compliance with the rules of civility that substantiate the rights and duties, in the acceptance of our laws, adherence to the non-negotiable values through participation in terms of works to build a better society. Our challenge is to free ourselves both from the trap of relativism, which leads us to uncritically legitimize Islam as a religion, as a condition to respect Muslims as people, both from the trap of racism that lead us to condemn Muslims as people indiscriminately as a result of our condemnation of Islam as a religion. We must have clarity and courage to distinguish between error and wanderer, and paraphrasing Gandhi, to support hands-free, I love Muslim, I hate Islam. We must have the courage to go to the root of the problem, which now allows the spread like wildfire of most Islamic schools, charities, and financial Islamic Shariatic schools, who turned some districts in Europe in Islamic citadels, which increases the number of women who are convinced or are forced to wear a closed cage that imprisons their body, which forces us to impose a gag and not telling the truth because we are afraid of Muslims. We must have the courage to say that Italy, France, Britain, Belgium, the Netherlands, Europe, the United States, the West is our common home, that we are not a wasteland and do not want to turn ourselves into a land of conquest. The main battle will be fought in our house between those who, like us, believe in the non-negotiable values and is proud of our civilization, and who opposed the practice, relativism, do-goodism, legal subjectivism, the Islamically correct. I am personally a victim of Sharia law, for being sentenced to death and repeatedly threatened by Islamic extremists, for having defended the non-negotiable values of the sanctity of life for everyone, including Israelis, Jews, Christians, infidels, and apostates, the equal dignity between men and women, the freedom of religious choice, including that of a Muslim to convert to another religion or belief without being automatically sentenced to death for apostasy. This condemnation and threats were received since, as a Muslim, I explicitly condemned Islamic terrorism, and later, after my conversion to Christianity in 2008. I have been Muslim for 56 years, and for 56 years I believed in non-negotiable values to life, dignity, and freedom, pursuing the illusion that Islam could be compatible with non-negotiable values. Facing the threats and death sentence, I had to acknowledge that Muslims as a people can be moderate, but that Islam as a religion is by no means moderate. Because what is written in the Quran, what Muhammad said and done, are in stark contrast to fundamental human rights. Let's create a broad front in Europe and in the West. Those who have faith in the non-negotiable values and are proud of our secular and liberal civilization, to counter the proponents of the murder-suicide of our civilization and our humanity. But we have to hurry up. On the other side of the Mediterranean, Muslims are monopolizing power thanks to our naivety, foolishness, ideological complicity, and military support. Now more than ever, Muslims feel strong and ready to deliver the coup de grace to this crisis in the West, deeply and extremely fragile. We do not resign, we do not give up, we do not submit ourselves. We will tackle this historical challenge head high and with our back straight, and we will win.